What's up, guys? Time to show off a... I don't know that I want to call it a vintage dial. I think I do. Thing is, I've been trying to verify the year time frame on these Komandirskie choppers, and I have not been able to find anything. I went through all the catalogs that I had, and I cannot actually find this one. This is a dial that I actually kept for myself, but I have so many watches that I need to build for myself that I thought I should probably let a few of them go. And it was going to work perfectly with this super distressed and already labeled Komandirskie beat up cerakoted case. Now there are some divots and marks that, you know, shouldn't be on there because that's how we distressed it. So did some distressing, did this in antique brass and antique bronze cerakote on the case, bezel, crown. We did some cerakote on the fold over screw as well as the crown. Did a set of black Boctok 24 hands. Put this on a 2416B movement that had a black date wheel to go with the dial. And then I pulled this from an older serviced brass case. But I can't find the year on this. I know it's older. I don't know. There's no labeling across the bottom, so I'm going to want to assume 92, 93 or so, 30 years old, but I cannot confirm that. Did a custom Italian leather with the Boctok engraving there. And then I happen to have a low profile Boctok caseback. Did a stainless steel movement holder in there. And then I did one of my nicer rotors that is the unbranded base that are pretty difficult to get now. Since this was a kind of a special watch, I put one of those in there with my full logo. And that is the build. This is kind of what I originally got into with Boctok, was taking a vintage or older dial and preserving it by putting it on a new movement, putting it in a new case. So we've kind of done the same exact thing, except the case and everything that is new looks like it's older, but it is in fact not. So whomever gets this, or if nobody selects it, good news, I'm keeping it. And just confirm that with the wife. Just an FYI. I just have so much money into it, I thought I should probably offer it up. And if nobody's even playing or trying for it, then I will keep it myself, because this is it's actually intended for me. So bezel on it will turn left, it'll turn right. The cerakote makes it nice and tight, will not move without you putting input to it. Automatic mechanical, you've got that rotor in the back, and as this spins, it is winding it. But if you're not going to be very active, it's not going to keep time. So what you're going to have to do before you set your time is wind it just a little bit. You back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. At that point, you can wind. And a wind is a turn that way. Turning it towards you does not wind it, but it is a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and go back and forth. If you do that for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, that mixed with your rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. And if you do it for another 4 or 5 seconds, you're going to max out your 31-hour plus power reserve on it, which is somewhat close to 36 hours. When you're happy with your winding, you're going to pull it out to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. So with your time, you'll notice you've got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement. So when you're pushing and prying on it, you are not putting any adverse pressure on anything. And you also notice you got a date wheel here. Now, today is the, 21st or 22nd? And this is the 23rd. With these date wheels, it's not simple like a position and you just click through. These are set up that at midnight it will advance. So, in order to advance this date, which I could show you, but I'm trying to kind of keep it close to what the current date is. If I would turn this around and wind it down, it's going to go to 24, right? Now, the way to quick date set it is to then wind it back to 8 o'clock. You'll see this kind of act like it's going to go in reverse, and then it kick back to nice and centered on 23. It'll kind of like roll a little bit and then kick back. It'll do that around 9 o'clock, but go ahead and run it back to 8. Then go back up to 12, and it will advance forward. Do the same thing, 8 to 12, 8 to 12, 8 to 12, 8 to 12, and it will keep jumping this. If you ever notice that you're on a date like 26, you go back, you go forward, and it doesn't advance. Maybe it makes a noise or it kind of shifts, but it doesn't go to 26. What you'll want to do is go ahead and advance it 24 hours, which you'll see it's not too hard to just advance, right? Advance it and make sure that it kicks forward. Because if you try and do the 4-hour thing again, it will essentially pop off of its track at that point and then no longer function. So, don't know why it's like that. I've had 2 do that, and it's come exactly from that situation. So, to be safe, if you do the advance on 24-hour, whenever you see that, or you're like, did that move? I wasn't really paying attention. I feel like it didn't move. Go to the 24-hour. Make sure it moves. Then go back to your 4-hour, back and forth. So that's just a little pro tip. Most of you might not even change the date. I never do. I don't actually look at my watch for the date. Dates these days don't even really matter to me. I get reminded like, oh yeah, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, and stuff like that. So all my days just run together. So for me, not a big deal. Anyway, okay, Google, what time is it? They had to think about it. 1:44 p.m. You're good? You're going to push it over, get it out of that time setting. And screw it down. It says the star and chevron there, which is what the Komandirskie logo adjusted to. You see them in later models or over here. You'll have this same symbol. So then that written there is written down the side. In case you did not actually notice that. And that is the build. As with every build, you're going to get matching beads. I still have a couple of these left. My vintage Boctok, which that's how it's written, how you pronounce it is Boctok. Vintage slider boxes. So this is what I originally used to do back in 2019, 2020, 2019. So still happen to have some of those, so that makes it perfect to go into there. This will come with a couple things. It's going to come with watch cleaner. This is a foamer, good on all glass and metal, so everything here in the center. Non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, as well as a microfiber. This Italian leather strap, over time, maybe it's not as soft. If not, you get a little bit of somebody's calling me right now. I will not answer that. You're going to have some leather conditioner. That will keep that strap perfectly soft. If you ever feel that it's not applied on the front and back, let it soak in, remove any excess, and it will go back to being extremely soft. I would apply it to the back, though. That's probably where you're going to have any issues where you don't think it's as soft. And then lastly, you're going to get some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just repackaged. It is like Polywatch. It is for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it, but if you do, no big deal. Put a tiny bit of this on it and buff it out using your color matching microfiber. If the scratch is up and down, just go left and right, filling that scratch, haze it out, buff it. If it's still there, wait a little bit, let that solidify, and then go back and revisit it, put it back on there, and haze it out. Just use a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. You'll know what I mean. And that's it. That's the build. If you like it, well, hopefully you like it if you win it. So this is as cool as it gets for me. So hopefully you love it too. And if you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. If you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.